Welcome to Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
And let's talk about Star Wars stuff.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster, true said.
All right, welcome back. We've got stuff finally. Things happen.
Things happened like right after we finished recording, basically last week.
We always record a day too early, I think it is.
I think so.
Because it's always like the day after is all the screenshots of, or all the shots of filming and sets and all that come out the day after.
All the news happens right after we're done recording.
They wait because they know.
And then we end up doing something like X-Men.
Yep, and then after the fact, everything happens. And they're like, why didn't they talk about all that stuff that happened yesterday?
Did I switch podcast?
Well, we lost about half of our listeners due to that, so...
That's the half we don't care about.
Exactly. If you don't like us for us, goodbye.
If you don't like us at our worst, you don't deserve us at our slightly above worst.
At our almost average. Yeah, so the day after we recorded our last episode, there was all of the videos and pictures and everything from the filming in Dubrovnik, Croatia happened.
Yeah. Yeah, there was like 2 galleries of stuff.
Yeah, and there were a lot of takedown notices from Disney. Of course, the only thing you can't really send a takedown notice to is Imgur. So people that...
They don't honor that kind of stuff?
I don't think so, at least not as well, because last I checked, they were still up there.
Really?
But actual websites like blogs and things like that had posted them had a redacted basically on that page saying we've been asked to take these down. But yeah, there was a lot of cool alien stuff, special effects stuff that was happening.
Yeah, it looked like Space Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, it did. Everyone was in black.
Black with like white.
It was almost a Phantom of the Opera type sashes.
Yeah,
sash. A sash. And they had people had like medals.
I'll get there. Just give me a few
Some people had like
minutes.
medals on them too, almost like they were maybe,
like pinned. Yeah,
yeah. And there were some really cool new aliens that we haven't seen before.
White gloves. A lot of white gloves going on.
It looked like an opera.
Yeah.
Supposedly, the rumor is this is Han Solo's funeral.
Oh.
Possibly this is on Corellia. No confirmation of that, but
yeah,
it's supposedly his funeral, and there were rumors of the fact that Billy D. Williams may have been on the set as well.
Really? Rumors from
there were
where?
There were no sightings of him.
Yeah, so rumors from where?
People there. Let me see if I can find. I think I had a note.
There, it would be really cool to finally get Corellia like established in the main canon like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's just something really cool. That has been in almost every Star Wars book and a bunch of comics and, I mean, all kinds of games, all kinds of stuff, but never in...
Yeah. So yeah, there was the main city scene, which if you were looking up anything to do with Episode 8 online, you saw that main strip that they built in the middle of Dubrovnik. But there was also a beach scene as well.
Okay.
So I don't know if they have...
Because you know how much Han loved the beach.
Oh yeah. Gave him that...
Just always talking about it.
Have a Viking funeral.
On the beach?
I don't know.
Do you ever associate Vikings and beaches?
Well,
that
no, just
doesn't
like having
seem
the
like...
water.
Yeah, water, right, but beaches. Yeah. I know beaches are involved in Vikings at some point, but you never really put those two together.
The fact that Vikings are always hanging out on beaches. They just have their swim trunks and their big hats with the horns on.
That's it. Nothing else.
No, yeah.
The white stuff on the nose.
Yeah. So Warwick Davis was spotted segwaying around Dubrovnik. He's supposedly playing a bunch of little aliens in various scenes.
How does Warwick Davis reach the handlebars of a Segway?
It's probably a special Segway.
Okay. That's a valid question, isn't it?
If it was a normal one, but he probably has so much Star Wars money.
Or he has really high platform shoes.
Right. You're mean.
I just... It's
sure.
It's a good question.
It's a question. Mark Hamill or his double was going to be shooting at a beach location there.
Sweet.
So the funeral procession was happening on the beach location, and then there was a speeder chase that happened, which we'd mentioned before. That speeder chase was happening in that city.
So
strip.
somebody crashes Han's funeral, maybe?
Possibly, and there's even shots of really good close-up shots of the damaged like pillars and stuff where the speeder actually crashes. And the people that we see in the black and the people attending
wasn't there some shot of a speeder like exploding? Like there was a camera truck that drove by a speeder and it kind of like sparked out a little bit.
I think so, like it got shot.
Yeah.
And the people at this funeral that we see in the pictures and the aliens, none of them look like anybody we know or have seen.
Yeah, the
before.
races look really strange.
Yeah,
stuff that we've never seen before.
And there was like a white alien that kind of looked like the Silence from Doctor Who. It reminded me of that
a little bit. Yeah, maybe the way he was dressed.
That was the only person not in black. They had a full white robe on. That alien. That white alien had a full white robe on. Everyone else was wearing like black and white.
The guy's head that looked like a heart, kind of bigger at the top and tapered down a little bit.
You're thinking the orange alien, right?
Yeah, maybe that was it.
That he was in black like everyone else, like in funeral attire.
That's what I thought you were talking about. That
he didn't look like Snoke.
There was one in
Snoke's
white
race is, but he was
the one with the tall head.
Yeah,
it wasn't okay. I know what
but yeah, he had a white. He had all white on.
Yeah,
or it had all white on. So I don't know what or who that is.
Okay,
and the importance of that person.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's a speeder chase and crash. There was like I mentioned, there was rumors of a possible Lando Calrissian. And if Luke was at the funeral at the beach, because we don't know, how they're filming, what sequence they're filming stuff in. They're probably not filming stuff in sequence of how it happens in the movie.
Right.
So if Luke was actually there, there's rumors that if Luke's double was at the beach, that if Lando's there as well, that we get some kind of reunion between the two.
Interesting. Between Luke and
Lando.
If his double is there? You mean they would be shooting the close-up shots elsewhere?
Maybe. I don't know.
Right.
Let's see here. Oh, and there were guys in like armor with helmets and everything that almost look like police.
Yeah.
And the Arabesh on the side of their helmet translated to CBPD. So Karelia something police department? I don't know.
Croatia.
Yeah. Yeah, or it could just be Croatia Beach Police Department. But the Arabesh on their helmets was CBPD, whatever that means. And yeah, someone where I got some notes from, they were mentioning how their helmets kind of resemble some earlier concept art for Cloud City.
It reminded me of early Macquarie artwork, or even like THX 1138 kind of style. I mean, it's a little different, but that's what it reminded me of.
It kind of reminds me of the guys in the Death Star too, where they're like powering up the laser, like their big helmet, not as big as those helmets.
Right.
It reminded me of smaller versions of those helmets. Those were more like
dark helmet
helmets. Yeah. And in these pictures, in wherever this funeral place is, there's this giant alien horse thing.
Yeah,
space
I
horse.
saw that. What the heck?
There's a giant space horse. It's like fully 1 story tall.
Yeah.
Like as tall as a house. Giant legs.
Space
and then,
horse.
Yeah, everyone's calling it the space horse because we don't know what it is. But there was a black actor riding it.
Oh, one of two.
Yeah. One of the 2 black actors in the industry was riding the space horse. It looked to be Finn, or at least his double. And then there was a smaller female as well with him.
Okay.
Which could either be Rey or it's
how small.
People said it could also be Kelly Marie Tran, who is in the new movie as well.
Oh, that's not nice.
We don't know what she's doing, but
there was more confirmation I read related to that. We were talking about the people who had been announced, the new actors that had been announced. Yeah. You might have this. Oh, yeah, you've got it later on about Laura Dern.
Yeah.
More information about who she's going to play.
Yeah, I've got some information about that later.
Yeah, it was the same stuff that I had read.
So yeah, there were 2 people riding the space horse. It looked to have been Finn and a female, either Kelly Marie Tran or Rey. I don't know if Luke is there at the funeral, then it would reason to be that Rey's there as well.
Yeah.
but no idea. Paparazzi was getting kicked out from hotels and escorted out of town by Croatian police. Yeah.
Wow.
They were being paparazzi because there was
is that legal?
Yeah, there was like a BBC paparazzi there.
Well, in Croatia, I guess.
And they had like really good vantage. They booked hotel rooms with really good vantage points. And
into the set.
Like in the city, yeah.
Oh.
And they were getting basically evicted from their hotel room and kicked out of the city for taking photos of everything.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh, and there was a scene. There was a small video, because this is happening in the middle of a main town, and and this is Dubrovnik
that they had to shut down.
So people are taking phone videos and things like that. There's a small video of someone looking to be force thrown from the top of some steps. Like he was like rushing down some steps and like looking over his shoulder, like someone was coming after him, and then he gets like tossed basically.
It looked like almost like an explosion was going to be, because he was wasn't he against like a blue screen or something?
Not when he was running down the stairs.
He wasn't? Okay. No. I thought I saw there was like a panel that was all one color. And this
was just another guy that's wearing all black with the white sash and all that, like a funeral goer.
Yeah.
Whoever.
It looked like he was running away. Yeah, like you're saying, from something, but like there was an explosion, and because he kind of like went up, and
it
wasn't just like a straight pull back,
No, yeah, it seemed like he was just kind of tossed out of the way.
Yeah.
So I
don't know if
wherever this is, and if it is Han's funeral, something goes down there.
Well, yeah, because the speeder explodes, like I was saying.
The speeder crash, all of that.
This guy.
I mean, especially if Luke and Rey show up to Han's funeral, they're gonna be. I mean, someone's gonna find out, and they're gonna crash it to try to get to Luke.
Oh, I see
right?
what you're saying. Yeah.
I mean, if Luke's going somewhere and the word gets out that he's going there,
yeah.
I mean, everyone else, every bad guy in the galaxy, pretty much is being paid to go after Luke right now.
Possibly.
And wherever Kylo and all them.
That's an interesting idea. I wonder if we're gonna get more like bounty hunter characters.
That would be cool.
That would be really cool.
Getting some new bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice. So assuming this is Han's funeral, and assuming the people that we think are going to be there show up, then it sounds like, the party's getting crashed because everyone is after Luke and now Rey.
Right.
Especially Kylo's not happy about the situation. Yeah, so that's the first big thing we've seen. Because that was filmed, like we said, it was in the middle of Dubrovnik. It was filmed in a very populated area. So we got to see a lot of that happening. Whereas, in episode 7, when that was shooting, everything was happening in the middle of kind of nowhere.
Right.
In the middle of, some hills and mountains. And,
well, this is kind of the middle of nowhere, isn't it?
It's Croatia? It's a pretty big city.
Yeah. Who goes to Croatia?
Croatians.
They live there, though. They don't go there.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, fine. Whatever. They're currently building a new set in Ireland. There's been cranes spotted. The buildings they're building look to be the same style of architecture as the ones on the Skellig Michael location where last we saw Luke.
Right. Okay.
So they don't know if it's another like a set double to act as the same set in a different location, or if there's like more of a city,
like an interior or something, or is this a big set?
Well, it's more of those like stone buildings.
Oh, interesting.
So it could be another city. It could have no relation to wherever Luke was last, but
the Jedi Temple.
And
I mean, that little island he was on didn't look like it was big enough to
have a lot of buildings.
So maybe he found it and just went to that little island.
Yeah,
found it on the planet.
So filming for that is supposedly going to start at the end of April.
Okay.
With both Hamill and Ridley at that location, and Disney has booked pretty much all accommodations in that town
to prevent the same thing.
Probably because it's a small place in Ireland where there's probably 4 rooms, in total. So
nice.
So hopefully we'll get some more. I mean, that one's not as readily available as building a set in the middle of a pre-existing city.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much, shots and things like that we'll get. But hopefully we'll get some new set shots soon. And then what you mentioned earlier about Laura Dern.
Yeah. More information about her being a resistance.
Yeah, there was a story from. It was like I think it's called the Latino Review, which sounds like the jankiest website ever. But they leak a lot of stuff pretty often.
Is it run by George Lopez?
I hope so. It's all just stolen articles. No, so they do leak some stuff, and it typically ends up being true. So they had a story again, like the day or two after we recorded our last episode, where it
course.
was talking about Laura Dern. There was someone had talked to them about a scene that had been filmed with Laura Dern and Poe, Oscar Isaac, and they were basically having an argument, and Poe either like stormed off or took over the situation type thing. Well, the fine people over at Making Star Wars they actually have people working on the film now as contacts.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. What in what capacity do they say?
I
guess they can't
not
really
saying
say
much about it because obviously this person would be
in
burned
trouble
at the Disney stake.
What does that look like, burning at the Disney stake?
Just tied to the castle. Just tie you to the top of the castle by Tinkerbell.
That's actually, it's funny you bring that up. I saw a picture the other day of the person who does the Tinkerbell flying from the top of the castle. Yeah. It's this like big burly guy.
In green tights and a tutu and all that?
Yep. He's wearing a green tutu with sparkly wings. He's got a little light on his face. You can see like just a general light, of a person moving. Yeah, because
she like glows when she goes by.
Right, yeah.
I guess now.
He's got a little crown on top of his head, like attached to the top of his head, and a blonde wig. I
guess it's up high enough and fast enough that
you can't tell.
You can't tell.
But yeah, somebody snapped a close-up picture of him as he was flying, and it's this big, burly... this big dude. He's wearing the little shoes with the little puffs on them. Like the little slippers. And like tights and everything.
Tink got swole. It's like the mountain flying over. That's really funny. I'll have to find it. You have to show me that picture.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
That's really funny.
But yeah. So every time that happens now, you can think about this big, sweaty man.
This big hunky Tinkerbell.
I don't even like to think of him as hunky. Just this big, sweaty, greasy, like mechanic.
He gets down, he like pulls off the outfit and puts like a dirty like apron back on and like a burger flipping hat on, and then goes back to his meat packing job or whatever. Like
Disney meat packing job.
Yeah.
All right, I'm finished. I'll just lace this suits here.
Thanks, Carl.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
There goes Carl, the best tink in the industry. So anyways, talking about Laura Dern and Poe, Making Star Wars has stated that they've confirmed more information and that the Latino review was correct about most of the information. Laura Dern seems to be a leader in the Resistance.
Some type of admiral, maybe?
Someone we haven't seen yet. So maybe there were ships and people. I mean, obviously there were a lot of people at the Resistance base that we didn't get to see.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, did any ships because most of the fleet got destroyed when the system.
That's what I was trying to figure out. Destroyed. So yeah, because the article.
I'm wondering how many big ships were out, not at the planet, not docked.
The article doesn't it mention her being on a ship or them being on a ship?
Yeah, their argument was like happening on a ship.
Yeah, so.
Which, I mean, at this point,
where is this fleet?
They probably are in travel right now because they had to flee their base, I'm assuming.
It'd be dumb to hang out, I guess.
Yeah. But... so whatever fleet they did have stationed, stored there, I'm sure they took off.
Yeah, I wonder what the capacity of that is,
Yeah. So Making Star Wars got even more information. They found supposedly, again, take this with a grain of salt, but supposedly Leia's ship gets ambushed, and she gets blasted into space, and then is in a coma. Not still in space. I'm sure she gets saved and then is in a coma. That part is interesting. If she gets blasted through space, that sounds a bit much.
Sounds a little weird.
But I could understand her being in a coma. That whole thing. Which then causes
Vader's TIE Fighter in A New Hope? Like that kind of a thing?
Maybe her ship gets blasted through space and not her. That would make more sense.
Well, yeah, I mean... how would she outship into?
It happens, right?
Does it?
It happens on the space station all the time.
Astronauts do
it. She holds her breath with the Force, and then she's fine.
Sure, that works. I think so.
Yeah, She could probably create some kind of air bubble, right?
Did I ever tell you about one of the very first Star Wars comics? Oh man, I wish I could find which comic this was. Han and Chewie get like captured by some person. I don't remember who it was now, but they are enslaved and forced to like battle in these kind of space games,
like the Hunger Games.
It's sort of, but in space, and they're
so like it's like a fight dome, like a
but in space.
Match? Okay.
And they're...
But, like, actually in space, not like on a planet.
Yeah.
There's, like, a cage in space they have to fight in.
Actually space. So they're in space. And the only thing that they have on differently than what they normally wear are these little glass...
Just helmets?
Like fishbowl helmets.
Just helmets, that's it. Their skin, all of that's fine.
Han's hands, he's just wearing, like, his shirt and a vest. And Chewie doesn't have anything on except, hair and a fishbowl. But they're like battling in these games just in the middle of space. So I assume it's something like that. Right?
Okay. Yeah, so Leia fights in the space games. And then...
I need to find that comic.
So apparently Leia ends up in a coma. And so Laura Dern's character takes over command of the Resistance. But apparently it doesn't make things any better. They only get worse under her command. She's probably less understanding than Leia is, less... kind.
Laura Dern.
Yeah, as a person.
Okay.
Whatever her character's name is. So apparently the argument that happens with her and Poe is because he doesn't like what she's doing, type thing. And apparently supposedly he becomes the interim leader of the Resistance. He kind of overthrows...
Poe does because of this?
Laura Dern's. Because of whatever she's doing that's making things worse. They don't say what she's making worse, but apparently Poe has... probably enough people on his side to be able to overthrow her being in charge. And they say in regards to the way Dern is portrayed, we are meant to not be sure if she is good or bad.
Interesting.
So we don't know whose side she's on really, if she's trying to help the Resistance or not, I guess. Which that could be a really interesting plot line.
I wonder if that's her. I wonder if she was a Republic officer.
Maybe she was a little more Republic thinking than
maybe
the Resistance and doesn't want to really do this anymore.
It would be interesting if we could relate it to that, get more information on the connection there between the Republic or I guess what used to be the Republic if they're actually all gone now.
Yeah, I mean, supposedly.
And the Resistance. Maybe she's like someone who was loaned from the Republic over to the Resistance to help out with stuff.
Or I'm thinking too. I mean,
if she's on a ship, maybe it's like a loaned ship from the Republic.
I mean, that's what that's one of the things I was thinking of is if the Republic, that whole system got destroyed, most of their fleet got destroyed
in orbit. Yeah,
there's obviously going to be ships out and about doing other things. She may not.
There would have to be, right?
You would think she may not have even been part of the Resistance until now, and now it's her only option is to be a part of the Resistance.
Yeah, that's true too.
She could have been a high-ranking official in the New Republic.
Yeah,
but there is no Republic anymore, so she has to join the rest of the survivors. The rest of
that would make sense.
The involved
with
people.
The argument. If the argument actually happens, there's a disagreement about how things need to be run.
Yeah.
Now, with her having to be like forced in with the Resistance.
Yeah. So the thing with Poe is if Poe now is in charge, obviously while Leia's out of in a coma, at some point, hopefully she will wake up from that coma within episode 8. If she's just asleep the whole movie, that's going to suck.
Just like in real life.
When she gets a job, she just wakes up from her coma and then goes and does it.
Carrie Fisher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably true.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I think it's interesting that they are, if this is true, that they're setting up Poe to be the new Resistance leader, main character, Resistance person.
Mm-hmm. And then him and Finn can get married.
I mean, obviously they faded. Yeah, that's a hope out there for a lot of people. Because obviously they faded Han Solo out of the story. Han Solo's gone. I mean, at some point they're gonna have to get
literally.
Yeah, Han Solo's very gone. Apparently, at some point it's just going to be the young actors. These older people can't do it forever, especially if they're wanting to make another, whole trilogy after this trilogy and so forth.
If that's actually going to happen,
yeah, if it gets that far. So I think it's interesting that they're setting Poe up as, because he's very much a Han Solo character. His character is very Han Solo-y. He's sarcastic.
Yeah.
He kind of just does.
But he's more of a hero.
He is a little more.
Han was never really a hero, at least at first.
Correct.
He kind of evolved into that.
He is like he's like the next evolution of Han. He's the better Han, the hero Han.
Yeah, I guess.
Because he's sarcastic, but he's a super amazing pilot.
He's also a natural leader.
Yes,
from what we've seen so far, and that was never really Han. I mean, sort of. I guess. Well, maybe he was
a little bit.
He just never really wanted to be. It seemed like.
I mean, he was good at it because they even he was in charge of of the whole indoor thing and all that. Yeah, for the most part.
Whereas Poe seems like he would want to be in those kind of situations.
Yeah, I mean, he's the leader of Black Squadron,
right, and
all that.
Yeah.
And in that same article that I was reading about Laura Dern and him, not that it matters entirely, but there was talk of his new wardrobe for the movie.
Poe's wardrobe?
Yeah, obviously he lost his jacket to Finn.
There's a big gash in it now.
Yeah, he literally lost his jacket. But supposedly, like his jacket and everything, he looks a lot more Han Solo.
Does he really?
They said his jacket is similar to the one Han was wearing at the end of Force Awakens, but it's almost like a mix between that and a Indiana Jones style jacket.
Like a leather kind of?
Yeah, it's like the brown leather
kind of thing. Oh,
yeah. So it's they said his whole outfit kind of is very similar to a Han Solo-esque costume.
That's interesting
because he's not going to be in the X-wing suit constantly like he was in the Force Awakens,
right?
Unless that's the only thing he has. I would hope he has a change of clothes. So yeah, I think it's interesting that he's almost like the gooder Han Solo. Like he's the more good Han Solo, the more moral. I don't know. Han Solo was moral, but he was always looking out for himself.
Yeah.
He's the leader Han Solo.
Right. He is Han. I mean, there's no replacing that.
Obviously. But in their attempt to, I think he's looking to be more the Han Solo character than Finn is.
They also need that somebody who, I mean, Han, was a big time general.
Yeah.
In the Resistance, they need somebody to kind of fill that type of position. Poe seems to be the logical, choice for that. Definitely. At least from the characters we've seen so far. Mm-hmm. Finn is not ready for that kind of stuff.
And that's something else I was thinking about is what is Finn's role at this point? What is there for him to do? He got out of the First Order.
That was his goal. That was it.
Provided they don't start the movie with like, well, he didn't make it. Like, I'm assuming he makes it through the slash in the back.
Well, he was riding Space Horse, so
supposedly he's riding Space Horse. So I was thinking about that today. What is his purpose now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Poe's in charge of, he's a main dude in the Resistance. He has to help out with that situation.
Yeah, and Finn can't really provide any kind of insight
Rey's
into the
got
First
her thing
Order,
going on with the whole Jedi stuff. And then Finn is recovering and saying we need to run. Like, I mean, that's all he said in the first. I mean, I don't know what he does now.
Maybe that's going to be a theme of this. Is now that he's finally gotten away, he's gotten what he's wanted this whole time.
Him fighting back instead of just running away. Yeah,
like where does he fit in, and when is it time for him to give back? I don't know.
Yeah, him and Leia can swap stories about their space comas.
Space comas?
Well, he's out.
Did he have a space coma? Well, that technically wasn't a space coma.
No.
It was more of a
snow coma.
It was a bed coma.
That's a nice coma. One bed coma, please.
Bartender, give me your finest bed coma. Right away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right this way, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right this way.
Bartender.
Thanks for that.
Like everything on the table shaking.
It's a good thing you didn't have a drink this time.
just sloshing around.
Waving it in the air.
Bartender.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun to shout that in places where you're not supposed to shout it.
So everywhere?
You could. Yeah.
Pretty much any.
I guess you're not really supposed to shout that everywhere, right?
Probably not.
Even in bars, you don't go into. That's not the first thing you do when you go into a bar. Is
I don't think I want them to spit in my drink or put any other things in my drink.
Besides drink?
Yeah, I would prefer my drinks to be drink only. One drink, please. Hold
Nothing
the
else,
sass.
just drink.
Yeah. I think if you add anything else to just ordering your drink, I think there's other things.
Does it still qualify as a drink anymore if there's more? If there's say hypothetically a dick in your drink, is it still?
See, that's not a liquid.
No, that's a solid.
Sometimes, but I wouldn't necessarily call that a drink. That's
a tall glass of something,
or a small glass,
or a tiny little glass,
little shot glass. Yeah.
One drink, bartender. Minus dick.
Did you have to tell them not to put dick in your drink?
You need to go to a different bar.
Yeah, don't go to that bar.
Just stop going there. If that's something you have to say, you have to know that the minute you step in.
Unless you went there for that reason.
To tell them to not.
No. If you're going to a bar for dick drinks.
Oh, I'm saying if you're having to walk in and say right away, no dick in my drink, please. You probably should go somewhere else.
So at that point, it could literally be a whiskey dick.
Yes.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that I got that out there.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Okay. Whiskey dicks for everyone. Could you just order that at a bar? One round of whiskey dicks
for everyone. What if you just you go in, you have a few drinks, you've been sitting there for a while, and then suddenly you just jump up from your seat. A round of whiskey dicks for everyone. And then sit back down, and
the bartender's like, "We need more dicks.
There aren't enough dicks." There's someone doing a head count. What?
Everyone line up. We gotta get a count.
By the way, searching old Star Wars comic Han in space games.
All right, that's
doesn't bring up anything.
All right,
anything relevant. So.
Bad Google foo.
I'll keep looking.
All right, thanks. Speaking of nothing we just talked about, I was reading some stuff about Rey today because I never got to read the Rey before the Awakening book. The Rey specific book.
The Journey to Force Awakens.
Oh, there was that, but there was also the Before the Awakening books, and there was like that Rey specific one.
Oh, it was Rey, Poe, and Finn, wasn't it? Yeah. So it was their backstories.
She was about 10 years old when she started scavenging on Jakku after her parents left.
Even though she was on Jakku,
when she started,
since she was like 5?
I think she was like 8 or 10 supposedly.
Oh, was she that old? Okay.
But something that I learned was she actually had a computer display from an old Y-wing that she fixed.
Where? In the
that
AT-AT?
She had scavenged. Yeah, she had it in her AT-AT.
This was in the book, you're saying?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So she found that AT-AT and she scavenged most of it for portions. Mm-hmm. And she lived there, but she kept stuff that she wanted to keep, like that helmet and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept a computer display from an old Y-wing starfighter. That's how she learned alien languages, on her computer that she built or that she salvaged.
Okay.
She learned alien languages. She studied schematics of Republic and Imperial starships, and it actually had a flight simulator on it.
Really?
As well.
Huh.
That is how she got to be a good pilot. She has nothing better to do than to practice with the flight simulator.
That's interesting.
In her house. I saw someone mention it on a Reddit post mentioning about her having a computer, and so I looked into it, and it was in that book. Huh. So she has a computer with a flight simulator on it. So that's...
I wonder if that's something that's going to come up at any point.
I don't know. I just thought that was interesting that that's how she became such a good pilot. Obviously, she had her little speeder that she drove around, but that wouldn't explain her being able to fly the Millennium Falcon like a badass.
Yeah, and they just kind of... the Force in the movie that just kind of skipped over that a little bit, like
why she's such a good pilot.
Okay, she's a good pilot. I mean,
obviously,
and they prove it. I mean,
obviously, she has just like Anakin. She has the Force, so she's predisposed to be good at.
But Anakin had that whole backstory of pod racing that kind of
But he was only ever good at pod racing because he had the Force.
Right, but I'm saying he kind of had that training a little bit,
But again, that's just that's just a ground speeder still. I mean,
well, yeah, I was gonna say it's not really piloting, but it requires like quick reactions and stuff that pilots would need, right?
Yeah.
Not like space combat.
Yeah. Speaking of Anakin, so I saw something we're going to mention in a minute, but a Blu-ray copy of the film got leaked today, as of recording. The Blu-ray discs started getting pressed, I think today or yesterday. Like the Blu-rays just started getting pressed. The discs getting made.
Do they press Blu-rays?
That's what they call them. They call it pressing. Well, they got to put the thing on it.
What the thing?
I mean, it's just a plastic disc that then the layers go on, and they gotta spin them up and put the stuff in it.
Don't they gotta?
you know how discs work. Duh.
You make it sound like they're making donuts or something.
Yeah, they squirt the movie juice on the first layer, and then they sit the other layer down, and they have to hold it really tight so that
so the movie juice doesn't escape.
Yes.
Yeah, because everyone knows that as soon as you squirt movie juice on something, it just tries to bounce everywhere.
You've never opened up a Blu-ray, like taking the edges and pried the two parts?
Because it's like flubber, you squirt it on, and it just wants to bounce everywhere.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
So you got to press it to make sure it seats in there.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah.
So they were pressing the discs, as the term is used.
What do they do with the extra movie juice that squeaks out on the sides?
Oh, they put it back in the movie juice pot to reuse. They're not going to waste movie juice.
Okay.
Duh.
Can you tell which parts got? Can you are they different parts?
No, there's grooves in the disc itself that when the juice seeps into those, it makes the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. I'll show you later. So they're pressing the discs, and like right after they started pumping discs out of the manufacturer, someone in that assembly line.
Oh, I'll take one of these.
Yeah, took one. It's just the film. It's not the special features disc. It's just the film disc.
Yeah.
So the torrent is out there. I do not suggest anyone download the torrent because Walt will jump out of his grave to sue you. But it's out there. So the movie was released, so people are starting to make GIFs and things like that are popping up in good quality and of scenes that we didn't have anywhere else.
Yeah.
But speaking of Anakin driving around, there's that scene, where Finn is fighting on the ground and Poe is like taking out like 15 TIE fighters out of the air.
Yeah.
He does that, and Finn then yells, "That's one hell of a pilot." Then it cuts to Anakin in the Naboo fighter, like shaking in the Naboo fighter when he's flying in space. It was really funny. I'll try and tweet it out. I'll try and remember tweeting it out.
That's really good.
It was really funny. I'll have to find it and tweet it.
Okay.
But yeah, you talking about Anakin. That's why I started laughing when you just started mentioning Anakin flying. But yeah, so as far as Rey goes, I thought it was really interesting that the books that they're putting out have a lot more explanation to things than what we had.
Oh, maybe we should read them.
Nah. I've read more than you have.
Tried that once.
You got those 4 pages down of Aftermath, and that's the end of that.
I got more than that. It was like 25%, 30%, something like that of the whole book. Not 30% left, just 30% in.
Just 30% through. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's pretty sad.
I don't even know how it ends.
I actually started Lost Stars the other night. I got about a chapter in, and I haven't gone back to it for about 4 nights. But that's the one about Lost Stars is the one about the 2 kids that are.
Was this the young adult book?
Aren't they all kind of qualified as young adult? Aftermath is the only non-young adult book at this point.
Yes, we're all man babies.
Yeah, whatever. They know.
Or woman babies.
I don't think that term does not sound as good as man baby. Woman child. Like, that doesn't.
You're such a woman baby. No, that sounds kind of bad.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good. So I think that's sexist. Lost Stars is the one where the 2, I haven't gotten far enough in, but I don't think they're siblings, but they're 2 like young friends.
You haven't gotten far enough to know what it's about yet.
I know what the book's about. I don't know how the 2 people are related. I think they're just friends. They're 2 young friends, and one goes to the Republic, and one goes to
just friends.
Sure. One goes Republic.
Sorry, I don't know
one goes Republic, and one goes First Order. Like they.
Oh right,
I guess at that point it's not First Order. It's still the Empire.
Right. I remember
they split. And that's actually the book that explains what that Star Destroyer is that crashed on Jakku.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
is this before the Battle of Jakku, or it just explains?
This is prior. The emperor was still around, I think, at this point.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
It starts out with like this family, like this podunk family, because it's like a backwater planet. There's like the fancy people in town, and then there's like the hill people, basically, like the farmers and like the people that have no money.
Yeah.
It starts out talking about the family that has no money, that are like farmers going into town, and one of the kids is like all he does, or I think it was a he, it may have been a she, I can't remember now. It's been so many days since I read the one chapter, but like the kid only knows stuff about spaceships and imperial ships and things like that, and they're going to see, I think it wasn't the emperor wasn't visiting them, I think it was Tarkin that was visiting them.
Oh, really?
To like give a big speech and like welcome to the empire type thing.
So this is like
to their
pre A New Hope.
I don't think it's that far back.
Well, if Tarkin is there,
well, I guess I think it was either Tarkin or the emperor, I cannot remember now, but they were having like, there was like a big meeting,
some high
there was like a big
profile
thing, like a parade in town for welcome to the empire type thing.
For this planet.
Yeah, for the planet.
Interesting.
Do
you remember if it was a planet that we know of, or just like a new planet?
It wasn't a planet I remember the name of.
Oh.
But I thought it was really interesting, and it was written well, so I'm going to keep reading it, but
okay.
I've got a lot of stuff going on.
Nice.
You know. So yeah, I mean, I kind of half-heartedly mentioned the Blu-ray thing, but yeah, the Blu-ray comes out soon, April 5th. It's only like 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
And the digital version comes out April 1st, I think? Or is it earlier than April 1st?
I thought it was the same day. I didn't know.
No, the digital one comes out like a week beforehand.
Really?
So it's going to be on iTunes digital like a week before.
Do you know if iTunes will have we've talked about this. Do you know if they'll have the exclusive, like the deleted scenes or anything? Okay.
Usually it's just the film. I know when I saw on the Amazon store looking at the digital versions, there were digital versions that had extras and some that didn't.
Interesting.
But
through Prime or like
it was the Amazon Video thing that no one uses. But
yeah, I think I've used that maybe once to watch a Star Trek movie. That's what it was.
The movie comes out April 5th, and I think the digital version's April 1st, so it's only like 2 weeks away.
Okay.
And of course, everyone that has pre-ordered the movie is like, well, I've already paid for it, so I'm just going to go ahead and download it and watch it now. Why not? I will neither confirm nor deny that I did that. But
that is not an admission of guilt.
It's interesting that it got leaked that fast. You know, they just started making discs.
Well, yeah, it's like
it popped right out.
One of the biggest movies of last year.
I can't imagine
in a while.
I can't imagine the like torrent hunt that's happening at Disney with like, all right, let's start tracking all of this type stuff.
Yeah. It's probably crazy.
I'm sure a lot of people that aren't as savvy probably got notices from their ISP to not do that.
Hey, why don't you not do that?
I love those notices because I've never gotten one, but I've seen one. I love those notices and how they're like, someone may have used your internet connection to download something. Here's the title of the thing that was downloaded. If it was you, please don't. If it wasn't, you should probably secure your internet connection.
Hey, maybe you not do that anymore.
Hey, asshole. Don't.
How about you just stop it? We can see you. We can see you doing that.
All right, thanks. It was me. No, I just love those stupid notices.
You're at your computer downloading.
You're just like it's just coming through your speakers.
We can see you in there.
Is that like a man at my window or at the computer?
Yeah, it's somebody. It's like at your little window. He's just like, hey!
I know what you did!
Hey, stop it! I can see you!
Who are you? Who do you work for? Why are you here?
That's not important!
This is Florida. I can shoot you. You're on my property.
Stop it!
As he's running away. Stop it!
Stop it! Just please stop it!
I'm on the sidewalk now. It's not your property. Please don't.
That was like he was being carried away. Would he just run away?
No, it's his coworker that's with him. He's like, Steve, come on, dude, just
for some reason I imagine this person on a garbage truck, just like holding onto the side,
like your internet service provider has like undercover people, like working for the garbage company, working for the lawn company, like just always on the lookout. They're like, hey, you! I know what you did. What, you're a garbage man. No! He pulls off a mustache and he's like, it's me! I'm like, who are you?
The truck starts going. No, wait! I can see you!
That's a good one.
So, Tyler, I hear that we have a new segment for the podcast.
That has nothing to do with Star Wars.
Yes.
But it's not X-Men, so please stay around. So,
for the other half of you that like X-Men, apparently, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
Sorry.
All right. So we have a game that probably won't last for a ton of episodes because I only have so much to go through here. But this is Guess the Movie Title, Fun Time Party Game, and Hullabaloo Extravaganza.
Yay!
Woo!
So, do we have like a theme song? Is it playing right now? It is right now, isn't it?
Yep,
okay.
That's it. Okay. So I found a
Let's
hilarious
just not
thing.
put a theme song.
That was the theme song. Just the silence of
me just going,
uncomfortability.
I'm just imagining a theme song.
So I found out, and I mean, it's not a surprise, but I never really looked into it very much.
Mm-hmm.
But foreign translations or foreign movie titles translate into the funniest things ever.
This sounds like the beginning of an episode of Kids Say the Darndest Things. Or
it's Asians say the darndest things. That's what this game is.
Or like, what was that hidden camera show with
Punked?
No.
What?
No,
I don't know. That's
like
the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh, the one with the Clark. Dick Clark. Remember, didn't he have a hidden camera show? Dick Clark? Did he? Was it Dick Clark? Oh, no, I'm second guessing myself.
Are you talking about the one where they hand out the big checks?
No, what? No. The sweepstakes?
I don't know.
What?
That's what it sounds like you're talking about.
Were those pranks? Was that not real?
No, they were real. There was the hidden camera, and they're like, "Hey, you got stuff."
What was the hidden camera
with Dick Clark?
Yeah, it's
was that just his basement? I don't. Were you on an episode of Dick Clark's
Pranks While We Hide
basement camera show
for TV? That's what it was called. Pranks While We Hide for TV.
Oh,
Do you remember?
What are you talking about?
Was it? It wasn't Dick Clark, was it?
No, it was the hidden camera. It was whatever hidden camera show.
It wasn't Dick Clark. It was Dick Clark. It was Ed McMahon and Dick Clark. Ha! Really? I knew it. I was right.
What's it called?
I don't know.
Then how do you know?
TV's Bloopers and Practical Jokes.
Okay.
You remember that show?
I don't remember that title, but I know exactly
remember
what you're talking
about. Remember that show in the 1980s?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, presented by Dick Clark, 1982 to 2004. That's like right in my wheelhouse. And yours too. You should know this.
I didn't have a wheelhouse.
Oh, presented by Dean Cain, 2012 to 2013.
Ew.
What are you up to, Dean Cain?
He's nothing now, I'm sure.
He was the Fear Factor guy, right?
Yes.
No, wait.
Yeah, he was.
Was he?
Oh, not Fear Factor. You're thinking of the other
Ripley's Believe It or Not. He did
that show.
The other scary thing.
The other scare show. Was he? Who was Scare Tactics? Scary. Scare Tactics was someone else. It was
Tactics.
Scare Tactics was
Lewis and Clark. He was in. Wasn't he Superman and Lewis and Clark?
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
Dean Cain. Yeah, he's Superman.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Are we just yelling random things now?
His last name was Tanaka. That's interesting.
In real world?
Just tying it back to Star Wars.
In real world, his last name was Tanaka?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. His name was Dean Cain Tanaka.
Oh, so his name actually was Dean Cain.
Sorry, no, Dean George Tanaka.
So there was no Cain. That was just stage.
Dean Cain.
Interesting. Anyways, back to our movie title game.
Yes.
So we talked about a few of these over Instant Messenger the other day. So like for instance, the Fast and the Furious movies were titled Max Speed in Japan. There was Max Speed X2, I think it was, Max Speed X3. I don't remember all of them, but the last one where there was the big long plane chase that was like 52 miles long on a runway, that one was called Max Speed Sky Mission. Which has nothing.
Honestly,
and the one before that was called Max Speed Europe Mission.
All right, let me tell you something. So that was the one that had the car flying out of the building, right?
I think so. I didn't
that's
see
the
7.
only. I've never seen any of them, but
okay.
That's the only part that I remember from that trailer, and I thought it was called Sky Mission because of that car flying out of a window of a building.
You might not be wrong.
Like he's going on the Sky Mission.
You may not be wrong. That could very well be the case.
Okay.
Because some of these are funny because they don't make sense. Some of them are funny just because it's amazing.
Okay.
So we'll do a few. Let me see if I can find. I wanted to make sure it was movies that you at least knew, unless it was super funny.
Okay. So the game here is you read a title and I have to guess.
I'm going to read the translated.
Yes, and I have to guess the real title of the movie. Okay.
So, for instance, I'll start with one that's hopefully easy. This is translated from Portuguese. It's The Man Who Killed His Mother.
Psycho?
Yes.
Yes!
There you go. There's an easy one.
For some reason, I thought Gone Girl at first, but that's not. She wasn't his mother.
Okay, I think I told you this one on IM, but I'm going to read it anyways. This movie title translated from, this was the title in Hong Kong. Translated was, Come to my cave and wear this rubber codpiece, cute boy.
Oh boy.
Please tell me you know what that movie is.
It's Batman and Robin, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Come to my cave and wear this rubber codpiece, cute boy. That does not convey the purpose of that movie at all.
I'm trying to think what else that would be. I just thought of Adam West.
I think I may have told you this one as well, but they were funny enough to keep. The happy dumpling to be who talks and solves agricultural problem. Translated from the title in Hong Kong.
That's Babe.
Oh yeah, that's Babe. That's definitely Babe. We're going with the softballs here, such as Big Dumb Monkey Man Who Keeps Whacking Tree with Genitals.
King Kong.
No.
Oh. Godzilla.
Big Dumb Monkey Man Keeps Whacking Tree with Genitals. Translated from Hong Kong.
Family Guy. No, these are movies.
Yes, it's a movie.
It's not King Kong?
It's a horrible movie.
Doesn't he do that in King Kong?
He may have whacked his genitals on the tree, but that is not the purpose. This happened a lot in this movie.
Oh, this is something that actually happens in the movie.
Oh yeah, it does.
It's not just like...
They're very literal with their titles, except for Max Speed Sky Mission.
So it's not like what they assume happens in the movie based on...
I don't know why they
trailer?
made the title. Their language couldn't handle giving it a stupid
Monkey Man
name.
smacks genitals on tree? Is that paraphrasing it?
Yes, Big Dumb Monkey Man keeps whacking tree with genitals. Come on, you've got to know this movie.
Cloverfield.
I'll give you the actor was Brendan Fraser.
What? Brendan Fraser with Monkey Man?
Brendan Fraser was a monkey man.
The Mummy?
He's not a monkey man. Tell me when you give up.
I can't think of anything with Brendan
Big
Fraser.
Dumb Monkey Man keeps whacking tree with genitals. With genital, sorry. Just it's singular.
Genital?
It's genital, yeah.
What?
Yeah, sorry. All right, you give up.
Dudley Do-Right?
It's George of the Jungle.
What?
George of the Jungle.
He whacks his genitals in that movie?
You don't remember that he always...
That's a movie for kids.
Remember he always flies into the tree with his legs like
Why
splayed
is he
open?
whacking his genital in that movie?
Did you see the movie? George of the Jungle?
I saw George of the Jungle Goes to the City.
Oh, you didn't even see the original one where he, it was
No.
George of the Jungle, watch out for that tree, and then he would smash into it with his sack.
Oh, they make it sound like he's doing it on purpose.
I don't know. They never explain
For
whether
some-
he was bad at swinging or if it was done
I
on purpose.
imagined him just standing at the base of the tree, just like swinging.
Just swinging
Right?
his junk at a tree.
Yeah.
He's swinging into the tree with his, and then hitting
Because
his
that would
junk.
make you a big dumb monkey man to just swing your
He
genital
was
at
already
a tree.
a big dumb monkey man. It had nothing. His monkeyness had nothing to do with the genital smashing.
Oh, it was two separate things.
Yes.
Okay. All right, next one.
All right. Translated from Portuguese: super guys who play hooky.
Super guys who play hooky?
Super guys who play hooky.
Ferris Bueller.
No.
That's a legitimate guess.
Super guys who play hooky.
The Incredibles.
No.
Super guys who play hooky?
I think you're getting hung up on the super guys.
You said super.
It's translated from Portuguese. Sky Mission doesn't mean the movie had a mission in the sky. I mean, super guys who play hooky.
Well, we discussed that. It could have been a mission in the sky.
But they didn't go that direction with the film.
Well, after you watch it, you find that out. But
Think of another movie with the title Super.
Superman.
Super guys that play hooky.
Super guys.
Maybe just go with guys that play hooky. Just leave the super off because that's confusing you.
That's Ferris Bueller.
No. That would be a super guy that played hooky.
But Cameron, he does it too.
Not of his own volition.
No.
All right, you give up. Super bad. Super bad.
They play hooky in that movie?
Super guys who play hooky.
Maybe I should know these movies.
I don't know if that was actually hooky, though.
That wasn't hooky.
Because it was like all night and days long. Yeah.
Yeah.
You blame the Portuguese.
Yeah. Yeah, they... Yeah. Yeah. They don't... Hooky? Yeah. What? Yeah.
Thanks. Translated from the Chinese title. A very powerful whale runs to heaven. First off, whales don't run.
Flipper.
Flipper's not a whale.
Well, look at what we've seen so far.
A very powerful whale runs to heaven. How does the whale run?
Is that Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
No.
Oh, that's the other way.
Yeah, that would be good. Come on.
It runs from heaven.
Think of another whale movie. You've got to know at least 3 whale movies.
What's the... It's not Flipper? No, that's a dolphin.
Yeah, Flipper's a dolphin.
What's the one with the orca?
A very powerful whale runs to heaven.
It's an orca, right?
Yeah.
What's the... Oh, I can think of the...
So really this game has turned into Michael doesn't know movie titles on the spot.
Well,
I mean, this is the shit. Our entire show is us not remembering titles of things constantly.
These have all been 90s movies, right?
Which you were alive and
I don't know anything about 90s pop culture. This is the orca movie, though. I can think of.
I can imagine people listening to this are probably yelling answers, and I hope that you are in your car or even in your cubicle, just like screaming answers out of nowhere. It's Free Willy.
Yes,
Free Willy. You're right. The orca.
It was on the tip of my tongue. So someone was just standing in their cubicle, just
It's Free Willy.
Asshole!
God, it's Free Willy. After it was Free Willy too.
So, another Chinese translated title. Run, Run, Cloudzilla.
Cloudzilla?
Cloudzilla. Run, Run, Cloudzilla.
Top Gun.
No. I think you're trying too hard now to figure out their title schemes, and there's no point.
Do you take this literally?
It was a Cloudzilla.
It was.
It was a Cloudzilla.
The Never-Ending Story.
No. You just name anything with a storm in it.
No, they were flying through the clouds.
Oh. He's not a Cloudzilla.
Well, no. I'm sure he looked like a Cloudzilla from someone on the ground who didn't know what he was.
Maybe.
Right?
Maybe he did.
It's a legitimate point. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I give up.
Twister. Twister was Run Run Cloudzilla. What? I don't know. I didn't make this up. This
could be anything at this point. It could be any movie. If that's Twister.
Well, here's an easy one. The title translated from Chinese was He's a Ghost.
Oh. It's kind of a spoiler. It's a Sixth Sense.
Yeah, definitely. That was the title translated from Chinese was He's a Ghost. I mean, I guess you could go into the movie assuming one of them is a ghost, but not know which one. The boy,
it could be anything,
and either of them could be ghosts.
Any of the guys. It could be a ghost. I like how it's just like, you don't have to see it.
All right, Chinese translation.
Well, he's a ghost. There you go. That's all you need.
Obviously, you don't have to see it now. We saved you money. Okay, Chinese translation. King Devil of Children.
King Devil of Children?
King Devil of Children.
Bad Santa.
No. I know you've seen this movie. You better have. I'm pretty sure you have.
Bad Grandpa.
No. Think older. These are older movies. A lot of them are. King Devil of Children.
King Devil of Children. Children of the Corn.
No.
Ah! That could be it, though.
It is a comedy.
It's an old... Oh.
Jeez. King Devil of Children. Haha, funny movie.
What the heck? Is it like Children of the Corn era? Like the 80s-ish? Or later?
Late 80s, early 90s, I think.
Really?
I'll give you the actor Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Running Man.
No. It was
hold on. Yeah. The Kindergarten Cop.
There you go. Kindergarten Cop was King Devil of Children.
Why is he a devil?
I don't know.
Cops are devils.
Speaking to one that you just named, translated from the Czech Republic, is Santa is a pervert.
Oh, that's Bad Santa.
That's Bad Santa.
There you go. That's that's the movie.
I think I mentioned this one to you earlier as well.
All you need to know is Santa's a pervert.
They're just being too logical, really, with these. Except for translated, the Japanese they get real good titles, like Sky Mission. I think we mentioned this one was Captain Supermarket.
Captain, I don't remember this one. Hold on.
It has nothing to do with that title.
Hold on, give me a minute.
Nothing in that title has anything to do with the movie.
Is there a captain in the movie at any point?
I wouldn't say he's the captain.
The captain?
I wouldn't say he's a captain. I wouldn't say there's any captain.
This is Army of Darkness.
Yes, Army of Darkness, Captain Supermarket. Because there was that one shot in the entire movie of a supermarket. Yep.
Wow.
All right, I've got a lot of these, so we're going to hold some for other episodes. But let me find a good one to close it out.
Can we change our Twitter handle to Captain Supermarket?
Sure. Oh, where was the... I know it's in here somewhere. I got to find it. Oh. You don't know the...
Did you hear that? What was that? That sounded like a sheep.
The Wraiths?
You didn't hear that?
That was the Closet Wraiths.
You have a sheep? Wraith sheep?
Yeah. You don't have those?
It sounded like one of those little cans that you tip upside down and it makes like a... You know.
That's
you know what I'm talking about.
That's the Wraith in the closet. He has one of those. He plays with it from time to time. It's fine. Don't look at him.
Oh.
Jeez.
What happened?
You're not going to know the title of this one, but I had to keep some of these because they were just funny. Delicate orbs of womanhood bigger than your head can hurt you.
Dragon Ball.
This is translated from Hong Kong. Delicate orbs of womanhood bigger than your head can hurt you. You're not going to know the movie, so I'll just tell you.
Big
it was a
Mama.
Pam Anderson film.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
that
I'll
makes
explain
sense.
that. It was called Barbed Wire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
No, delicate orbs of womanhood bigger than your head.
I was
going to
guess Big Mama's house.
All right, I've got to end with one that you would be able to guess, I hope.
All right. Last one.
This is the last one.
While Tyler's looking it up, I'll say, check out our Twiddle.
Please don't. That is my time. Don't check out my twiddles.
Please check out our Twiddle.
We'll post that video later.
We'll be putting our Twiddles online. So go to our Twiddle page and twiddle at us.
Okay, I'll do this one just because.
Email us at hokeyreligion@gmail.com.
Yes.
Leave us a review on iTunes. 5-star review. Nothing less.
The Android Music Play Store
Yeah,
still
that's
doesn't have the podcast
yeah.
though.
I think we just keep. We're just gonna say that.
I'll just cut that from every episode.
Even
from
if it
the
goes
first
up,
time I said it.
even if it goes up, we'll just keep saying it.
It's still not up, but leave us a review. All right, this is translated from the German title. A twin seldom comes alone.
Okay, bye.
No, you gotta get the movie title. Translated from German, a twin seldom comes alone. I mean, obviously it sounds dirty to us because we're horrible people, but you could take that to mean that there's...
The second Matrix.
No, it's not the guys in white with the dreads.
I don't know.
It's Parent Trap.
What?
Ask the Germans, man. All right, I've got like another page and a half of these for next time. Jeez. We can do another handful. That was a fun game. I love those. Batman and Robin is still my favorite one.
What was it? Come here with your codpiece, little man.
That should be a movie title. No, come to my cave and put on this rubber codpiece, cute boy.
Okay, bye.
All right, see ya.
Hokey Religion is an ancient weapon. Hokey Religion is an ancient weapon for no match for a good blast here, true side.
I don't know how well you know movie titles, but Have you ever seen As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson?
No, I've never seen it. I've heard of it.
The Chinese translation for the title is Mr. Cat Poop.
What?
Because his name in the movie is Melvin, and apparently it sounds a lot like the Chinese word for cat poop. So the movie title is Mr. Cat Poop. As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholas. Jack.
That's a golfer.
The other one, Jack Nicholson, Mr. Cat Poop.
Jack Nicholson is Mr. Cat Poop.
It's just like a zany trailer.
What am I gonna do with all this cat poop?
And then Yakety Sax.
Whoa. Huh?
And then Yakety Sax starts playing.
You're still recording.
I don't know. Maybe we'll say something funnier than what happened in the actual episode.